Let me give you something raw, something real, because that's what this deserves. Sometimes the question that eats at us the most is why? Why did they hurt me? Why did I have to go through that? You replay it over and over, like if you could just find the missing piece, it would all finally make sense. But here's the truth, maybe God wanted them to hurt you, not because you deserved it, not because you were weak, but because pain has a way of carving out the space in you that comfort never will. You see, comfort keeps you still. Pain moves you. Comfort keeps you the same. Pain shapes you. The hurt you carry, it isn't a punishment, it's a preparation. God doesn't waste wounds. Every scar is a reminder, not of where you broke, but of where you healed stronger. Think about it. How many times has the betrayal taught you boundaries? How many times has the rejection shown you your own worth? How many times has the heartbreak opened your eyes to what real love should look like? If they hadn't hurt you, maybe you'd still be settling. Maybe you'd still be silent. Maybe you'd still be small. And yes, it's unfair. Yes, it stings. But sometimes God allows people to cut you so you can learn how deep you really run. So you can finally see that you are tougher than you ever thought, braver than you ever imagined, and closer to Him in the dark than you ever were in the light. So no, don't wish it away. Don't curse the pain. Say thank you. Because the hurt they caused, that was God's way of handing you a new strength, a new vision, a new you. And one day, when you look back, you won't be asking, why did they hurt me? You'll be saying, thank God they did. Pain has purpose. That's not something we like to hear, but it's something we need to understand. Nobody wakes up in the morning and says, you know what I need today? A little heartbreak, a little betrayal, a little disappointment. No, we avoid pain at all costs. We resist it. We run from it. We numb it. But here's the truth, pain is often the very thing that carries the lesson we couldn't learn any other way. Think about it. The moments in your life where you grew the most, did they come from comfort or from struggle? Did they come when everything went your way or when nothing did? Growth doesn't happen when life feels smooth. Growth happens when life feels impossible. Pain pushes you into places you never thought you'd go, and it forces you to discover parts of yourself you didn't even know existed. God doesn't allow hurt to cross your path because He enjoys watching you struggle. No, He allows it because He knows what that struggle will unlock inside you. That heartbreak that nearly broke you. It showed you what you actually deserve, what you will no longer tolerate, and how deep your capacity for love really is. That rejection you thought would crush your confidence, it revealed that your worth was never in their approval to begin with. That season of loneliness, it taught you how to stand on your own 2 feet and how to lean on Him in a way you never would have if everyone had stayed by your side. Pain has a way of refining us. Fire burns, but it also purifies. Pressure crushes, but it also creates diamonds. You can't get the beauty without the process, and you can't get the process without the pain. That's why sometimes God doesn't rescue you from the hurt right away, because He's using the hurt to build something greater in you. Here's the other side of it. Pain also gives you empathy. It softens you in places you might have been hard. It makes you see people differently because you know what it feels like to be broken. Someone who has never hurt can sympathize, but someone who has walked through pain can truly understand. That's why the wounds you carry aren't just for you. They're also for the people you'll help later on. Your pain becomes someone else's survival guide. And listen, I know it's easy to get bitter. Easy to think, if pain has a purpose, then why does it hurt so bad? But here's the thing, purpose doesn't erase pain, it redeems it. You're not supposed to pretend it doesn't hurt. You're supposed to recognize that even in the hurt, God is working. Even in the mess, He is molding. Even in the silence, He is speaking. So the next time you ask, why did they hurt me? Why did I have to go through this? Remind yourself pain has purpose. It's not wasted. It's not meaningless. It's not random. It's doing something in you that comfort never could. It's building strength, resilience, empathy, faith, and wisdom. You may not see it right now, but one day you'll look back and realize the pain you hated most was the teacher you needed most. And that teacher didn't come to destroy you. It came to deliver you into the version of yourself you were always meant to become. Comfort doesn't grow you. Let's sit with that for a second, because comfort feels good, right? It feels safe, it feels familiar, and who doesn't want that? A comfortable job, a comfortable relationship, a comfortable life? It sounds nice. But here's the catch, comfort rarely, if ever, creates change. Think about a seed. If it stays in the comfort of the packet, it never becomes a tree. It has to be buried, pressed down into the dark, covered in dirt, stretched, strained, and split open before life comes out of it. That breaking process, it's uncomfortable. But without it, the seed stays a seed forever. The same is true for us. Comfort zones feel like protection, but most of the time, they're prisons. You stay in the same patterns, the same circles, the same way of thinking, because it feels good not to be challenged. But without challenge, you don't move, you don't grow, you don't see what's possible. And here's where God comes in. Sometimes He allows discomfort, even hurt, because He knows that without it, you'd never step into the bigger version of yourself. Look back at your own life. The person you are right now, stronger, wiser, more aware, didn't come from seasons of comfort. It came from seasons that stretched you. That time you got laid off, it forced you to discover skills and strengths you didn't know you had. That relationship that ended, it made you redefine your standards and taught you what real love requires. That move you didn't want to make. It opened doors you never would have walked through if you had stayed where it felt easy. Comfort tells you to stay the same. Discomfort pushes you to change. And the truth is, if life never hurt you, you might never grow up. You'd stay the same person you were 5 years ago, repeating the same cycles, holding on to the same small mindset, never stepping into the fullness of who God designed you to be. And listen, I'm not saying comfort is evil. We all need rest, peace, moments to breathe. But if all you ever chase is comfort, you will miss your calling. Because your calling requires stretching. Your calling requires risk. Your calling requires walking into unknown territory where you don't have all the answers, but you do have the faith to take the step anyway. That's why sometimes when it feels like your world is falling apart, it's actually falling into place. God is pulling you out of what's comfortable so He can push you into what's possible. You may not like it, you may fight it, but deep down, you know you were not created just to be comfortable. You were created to grow, and growth is always uncomfortable. Muscles don't get stronger without resistance. Faith doesn't get deeper without trials. Character doesn't get sharper without testing. Every single thing that develops you requires some kind of discomfort. So when you feel life pressing on you, when you feel God nudging you out of what's easy, don't see it as punishment. See it as preparation. He's moving you out of the shallow end because He knows you're ready for the deep. He's shaking you out of the old patterns because He knows you're capable of so much more. Comfort will tell you, stay here, it's safe. Growth will tell you, go there, it's worth it. And the question is, which voice are you going to follow? Because one day you'll look back and the moments you hated the most, the uncomfortable, the uncertain, the painful, will be the very moments that made you. Comfort doesn't grow you, but discomfort, that's where the real you is born. Scars are strength. Let me say that again, scars are strength, because when most people see scars, they see damage. They see what was broken. They see the wound, the pain, the reminder of what went wrong. But I want you to shift how you see them. Scars are not proof that you were destroyed. They're proof that you survived. Think about what a scar actually means. It means you were cut, you were hurt, you were bleeding, but you didn't stay open. You healed. The skin closed. The body restored itself. That line across your skin or across your heart, that's a record of survival. A permanent reminder that the pain tried to take you out, but it didn't succeed. And here's the powerful part. Scars don't just tell your story. They tell other people's stories too. When someone sees your scar and you're willing to say, yeah, I've been through that, you're giving them hope. You're showing them it's possible to make it out the other side. Your scar becomes someone else's courage. Let me give you this. When you look at a tree that's been struck by lightning, you'll often see a deep scar running down its trunk. The bark might be torn, the wood exposed, but the tree is still standing. In fact, those scars often make the tree stronger, tougher, more rooted. That's you. Life may have struck you hard, but you're still here, you're still standing, and that scar is proof that you didn't break completely. You bent, but you didn't break. We live in a world that tries to hide scars, cover them up. Pretend they don't exist. People want to present perfection. No marks, no flaws, no evidence of pain. But perfection isn't powerful, scars are. Nobody relates to a flawless life. People connect to the battles you've fought, the wounds you've carried, and the way you got back up again. God allows scars not to shame you, but to remind you of His faithfulness. Every scar says, I made it. God carried me. I healed. The enemy wanted that wound to stay open forever. He wanted you to bleed out, to give up, to think you'd never recover. But the scar says otherwise. The scar says, I went through the fire and I didn't come out the same. I came out stronger. Let me flip it one more way. Scars aren't weak spots. They're tough spots. That part of your skin, that part of your soul. It's harder now. It can withstand more. It's not easily broken the second time. So while you may think your scar is the most fragile part of you, it's actually one of the strongest. And here's the challenge: stop being ashamed of your scars. Stop wishing they weren't there, because every scar tells a story. Every scar points to survival. Every scar is a silent testimony that what was meant to harm you only made you tougher. So wear them, show them, own them. They are not signs of weakness. They are signs of strength. They're not evidence of defeat. They're evidence of victory. The next time you catch yourself looking at your scars, physical, emotional, spiritual, don't say, look what I lost. Say, look what I overcame. Because scars don't mean you're broken. Scars mean you're built. Hurt teaches lessons. It's one of the hardest truths in life, but it's also one of the most freeing once you accept it. Because when we go through pain, our first instinct is to ask why. Why did this happen to me? Why did they treat me that way? Why did I have to lose something I loved? But here's the thing, hurt is not just random suffering. It's a classroom. And every classroom has a lesson. Sometimes the only way you learn is through hurt. You can read all the books, listen to all the advice, watch other people's stories. But until it touches you, until you feel it in your chest, the lesson doesn't stick. Pain makes sure you remember. Think about betrayal. It cuts deep. It leaves you questioning yourself, doubting your judgment, wondering how you didn't see it coming. But betrayal has a way of sharpening your discernment. It teaches you to pay attention, to spot red flags, to value loyalty and honesty above smooth words. Without betrayal, you might keep trusting everyone who smiles at you. With betrayal, you learn to guard your heart without hardening it. Rejection is another teacher. Rejection stings. It makes you feel unwanted, unseen, unworthy. But if you stay with the lesson, you realize rejection doesn't define your worth, it reveals it. It shows you where you don't belong, where you're not valued, where your presence is wasted. Rejection redirects you. Without it, you'd keep forcing yourself into spaces too small for your gift. With it, you learn to stand taller, to hold out for the places where you're celebrated instead of tolerated. And then there's heartbreak. Nobody likes to talk about it, but heartbreak is one of life's greatest teachers. It teaches you what love is not. It shows you the difference between attention and affection, between comfort and commitment, between being needed and being valued. Heartbreak makes you wiser. It teaches you that real love doesn't break you down, it builds you up. Without heartbreak, you might settle for half love forever. With it, you learn to wait for whole love. Even loss carries lessons. Losing someone, something, some season, it hurts more than words can explain. But loss teaches you to treasure what you still have. It teaches you that time is precious, that people are not guaranteed, that moments matter. Loss has a way of shifting your perspective from petty things to permanent things. Here's what I want you to hear: every hurt carries a lesson, but only if you're willing to learn it. Some people stay stuck in the pain, replaying it, rehearsing it, letting it poison them. Others lean into it and ask, what can I take from this? What can I carry forward? What can I do differently next time? That's how pain becomes wisdom. God never wastes hurt. He doesn't allow you to go through betrayal, rejection, heartbreak, or loss without weaving lessons into it. Lessons that grow you, lessons that protect you, lessons that prepare you for what's next. You may not see the wisdom right away, but one day you'll look back and realize that painful season taught you something no easy season ever could. So instead of asking, why did this happen to me? Start asking, what is this teaching me? Because hurt isn't just pain, it's instruction. And when you lean into the lesson, you turn wounds into wisdom. God doesn't waste wounds. Every cut, every bruise, every scar you carry, He's using it. Now, I know that's not always easy to hear. When you're bleeding, when you're broken, when you're in the middle of the mess, it feels pointless. It feels unfair. It feels like suffering without meaning. But let me tell you, nothing you've gone through is wasted in God's hands. See, when we look at wounds, we usually see weakness. We see the places we were hit, the times we failed, the moments we were hurt. We think, why would God let me go through this? What's the point? But here's the truth: your wounds are not wasted. They're being woven. Every painful moment, every tear shed, Every heartbreak survived. It's all being stitched into a bigger story. Take a moment and think about some of the hardest seasons of your life. Did you come out of them weaker, or did you come out with something you didn't have before? Maybe it was resilience. Maybe it was empathy. Maybe it was the ability to stand alone, or the courage to say no, or the strength to finally set boundaries. Those things didn't come from easy days. They came from wounds. And those wounds became weapons. Here's where it gets powerful. Your wounds are not just for you. God often uses the places you were hurt most to help heal someone else. That's why nothing is wasted. The pain you went through, it gives you credibility. It gives you compassion. It gives you a voice that can reach someone who's still in the middle of their struggle. You can look them in the eye and say, I've been there. I know the weight. And I promise you can make it out. And this is what the enemy hates, because he thought the wound would stop you. He thought it would silence you, shame you, destroy you. But instead, God takes the very thing that was meant to harm you and flips it into a testimony. What was supposed to be the end becomes the beginning of something new. That's why Paul wrote, what the enemy meant for evil, God meant for good. That's not just a verse, it's a reality. Even Jesus carried wounds. Think about that. The Son of God, perfect in every way, still carried scars in his hands and feet. And those wounds weren't wasted. They became the proof of victory. They became the evidence of love. They became the very thing that saved us. If God didn't waste the wounds of his Son, he's not about to waste yours. So don't hide your wounds. Don't bury them. Don't pretend they don't exist. Bring them to God and watch him turn them into something greater than you could ever imagine. Your wounds can become wisdom. Your wounds can become your witness. Your wounds can become the very thing that unlocks your purpose. The truth is, life will cut you. People will hurt you. Circumstances will break you. But in God's hands, no cut is pointless, no hurt is random, no break is beyond repair. He is the only one who can take the wound and make it a weapon, take the pain and make it power, take the loss and make it legacy. So the next time you look at your life and think, why did I have to go through that? Remember, this God doesn't waste wounds. Every one of them is being used to shape you, strengthen you, and send you into the person you were always meant to become. Gratitude for the hurt. Now that sounds backwards, doesn't it? Gratitude for the good things, sure. Gratitude for blessings, of course. But gratitude for the pain, gratitude for the betrayal, the rejection, the heartbreak. That feels impossible. And yet, that's exactly where the real transformation happens. See, gratitude doesn't mean you enjoyed the hurt. It doesn't mean you wanted it. It doesn't mean you're thankful for the people who caused it. Gratitude means you've come far enough to see what the hurt produced in you. Gratitude is what happens when you realize the pain didn't just break you, it built you. Think about it like this. Every hurt stripped something away that you didn't need. The betrayal stripped away your blind trust. The rejection stripped away your dependence on people's approval. The heartbreak stripped away your illusions of love that was never real. Every hurt took something, but it also gave something back. It gave you strength, clarity, wisdom, and vision. That's what you're grateful for. Not the pain itself, but the person you became because of it. Here's the secret. Gratitude is what turns wounds into wisdom. Without gratitude, hurt just sits inside you, festering, turning bitter. You replay it, you resent it, you let it harden you. But gratitude changes the story. Gratitude says, yes, it hurt, but I'm stronger for it. Yes, they walked away, but I discovered myself. Yes, it broke me, but it built something better in me. Gratitude doesn't erase the pain, but it redeems it. One of the greatest signs of growth is when you can look back at the very thing that once made you cry and say, thank you. Thank you for the lesson. Thank you for the strength. Thank you for showing me who I really am. That's not weakness, that's power, because it means the pain no longer owns you. You own it. And don't miss this. Gratitude for the hurt isn't just about your past, it's about your future. When you can be grateful for what tried to break you, you stop fearing what's ahead. You stop living scared of the next heartbreak, the next setback, next storm. Because, even if it hurts, even if it's messy, even if it feels impossible, you'll come out with something valuable. You'll come out with a new reason to be thankful. That's how you know you've grown, when you stop asking, why me? And start saying, thank you, God, for trusting me with this. That's heavy, but it's real. Because God doesn't waste pain, and gratitude is how you honor that truth. So let me ask you, what's the hurt you've been carrying? The one you've hated, resented, wished never happened. What if today you flipped it? What if instead of saying, "Why did they hurt me?" you said, "Thank you, God, for what you built in me through that hurt." Gratitude doesn't change the past, but it changes you. It changes the way you see the story. It changes the way you walk into tomorrow, and it changes the way you use your pain, not as an excuse, but as evidence of resilience. So yes, be grateful for the blessings. Be grateful for the wins, but also be grateful for the hurts, because without them, you wouldn't be the person you are right now. And the person you are right now, that's someone who's stronger, wiser, tougher, and more prepared for what's next. Gratitude for the hurt. It's not easy.
Yeah.
But it's powerful. And one day you'll look back, smile at the scars, and say, thank you. Because they didn't just hurt me, they healed me into who I was meant to be.